Everyone, my check. How are you all doing? What's up? Yeah, Halchal, what's happening? Markets are down. You're up. Amazing. Over here, Anita ji, oh, she's ready. I love it. I love it. She came ready. She was like, okay, the moment this guy shows up, I'm gonna blast message at him. Good day, Sim India projects. Candle size 3 minutes. Reason BB squeeze gap up and ORB 757 key entry. 815 ka exit. Wow. Bullseye, candle size 3 minute reason BBSQ price above VWAP, EMA 20 और B super trend सभी कुछ था wow entry at 9616 exit at 9987 we've really got someone who's leveraging every tool she's got an option can says 3 minute reason Nifty gap down and expected to go down sideways due to long weekend and Nifty price was 23960 entry at 196 exit at 252 what option strike was it I like the rationale you have makes complete sense. Greencast retest started should have entered post retest entered before I was bearish review based on oil price lot size 2. Can you just also communicate the strike that you were dealing with in case of options would be a good review. Good evening. Union Bank of India BB contra price above 200 SL. Okay, nice. Target 164. CCL weekly IRI look clear update how to trade. Okay. No, Anita ji, if possible, can you tell me the strike price that you've used in case of the options trade? I see the Nifty trade, but I don't see the strike price. So I'm not able to refer to the option that you're looking at. Meanwhile, I'll share my screen, my check, my check. Well, we have that, which is, where is that? The data is updated, so you have the latest files uploaded. That's done. Other bits we have is we'll go check a few things that we already have a query of. Guys, we're warming up, so no problem. It's not that we are literally starting with options. We have a few queries. We are discussing them as we go. We'll go for STEM India projects. Damn, you've got squeeze, is it? Is it squeeze on daily, Anita ji? Are the squeeze on Bajaj Auto and STEM India on daily? Okay. Actually, it's on 3 minutes. So you, wow, you're using 3 minute squeezes. That's something. It was a steep gap up and then a movement upwards. So yes, you had a positive movement. I mean, if I go back and look at it on daily time frame, what I can clearly see is it broke out of the range. That also can be labeled as a breakaway gap from an area. So that's a proper breakout both ways. Entered about 757, so you entered in that area, exited 815. So we literally milled out about 15 to 16% of that move. That is very solid. Bajaj Auto candlestick 3 minute BBSQ price above VWAP. Bajaj Auto. That is another Marubozu candle. You have LT, all of that is on 3 minutes. Let's go check on 3 minutes. Well, you have a squeeze. The squeeze is a huge squeeze. Please understand we're doing a 3 minute situation. The outlooks may also get volatile on 3 minute basis. So it's gonna be an intraday thing. Keep control. When you're doing it on 3 minutes, Anitaji, ensure that you're in complete control. You're not like a bit casual with these trades. When you're on the trade, as long as it doesn't get fairly onside, meaning fairly profitable, you will have to be all screens, okay? Because stream is a tight time frame. I mean, but I love it. I've seen your progression. You have really, you know, done a good job across options and equities over time. So you've entered about 9616. Wow, you're a first minute trader apparently. Wow. We've got an entry in the literal first to second minute. Wait. Your entry was 9616. Okay, so you had enough time. So I go on 3 minute. You did not have the trade coming out in the first minutes. Eventually, when it broke out, you had an alert maybe. That could have been one thing I see. Or maybe because that is the area of breakout where you had a squeeze. Or by using charting. How were you able to identify these things? Like They're little squeezes. I understand. Good job. But then how are you approaching them? Because getting a squeeze, oh, you had an alert for Bajaj. I see. I see. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. When you have alert on Bajaj and if it goes to that price, totally makes sense. And if you open the chart and you see such a squeeze on 3 minutes, completely makes sense. Good job there. So that's another one. Third is Nifty gap down expected. Okay, you've entered the strike of 2400 PE. Let's go on Nifty. Nifty 24,000 PE. I see you getting inside. You're getting in the money. Let's duplicate and open up Nifty 50 also to understand the commentary that she has given. Guys, we're still not started with the main session. We're just going through the commentary because I have such a lovely observation. And whenever there's a pretty observation, I love deep diving. Okay. So that's the intraday commentary of Nifty 50. You have a gap down, which is clear. And then the markets also went downwards. You traded a put entry at 196, exit at 252. You also seem to be the person who's clicking trades early. So you have a long at 918 and you exit at 930 on 24,000 put. Let's go load up 24,000 put. That's 1 minute put chart of 24,000. You've entered early 918. You've entered about at 196, which happens to be in that area. Yep. And that's a 918 entry. Makes complete sense. And you've exited about at 252 till 930. Okay, so you've taken that intraday move. Background being that markets gap down because crude shot up. Well done. That is a morning trade that at sea. There's only one thing I would want to tell you. You have done a good job. I don't want to like warn you and over protect you with 1,000 warnings. You're doing good things. You're just ensure you don't punch a 915 trade. I'll tell you 915 will always be very noisy. You can go and do this. I'll give you the side, an external extra assignment for that. Preferably load up all the at the money options on 915. You will realize it's a very chaotic price movement in that 1 minute. Like in this case, the first minute candle was a high of 199 and a low of 164, and you would not know where you have filled in the price. So, and I see you have taken some time, you have taken the entry at 918, which is very mature, very well done. You have done good job, well done. Okay. Then we have on daily time frame the stock uh, Union Bank. I love it, bhai, ki ab jo the message now that I'm getting now is coming with a lot of commentary, and I'm loving it. The rationale is BB Contra price above 200, okay, bought at 166, SL 157. The last big support. Wow. Okay. Yep, you've done a good job there. That's a good setup. Now understand, with Union Bank being a Sarkari company, PSU Sarkari, part one, let's also have Nifty PSU as a background. Let's see what Nifty PSU Bank is doing on daily time frame. Nifty PSU at the moment is threatening those levels and has been cracking since for a while. If you compare it with Nifty, if you compare it with Nifty 50, that's Nifty 3 day of a fall. Baki recent 4 days are sideways. But if I go back to PSU Bank, you will see 3 days of a fall, and then these 4 days are also falling. Now tell me, what is your view? What do you think is happening in case of PSU Bank versus Nifty? Is PSU Bank underperforming or outperforming Nifty at the moment? You've got PSU Bank's 7 day behavior, 3 days sideways, and then 4 days of fall, versus you've got a Nifty, which is 3 days sideways and 3 days fall, and then a 4 days downways. Okay. So that way, PSU Bank at the moment is underperforming. That is a good observation. With that, another point is it's now threatening a level. It's now at an important level. So you've taken a decent entry. Tactically speaking, you're not wrong taking this trade. Also, you're not being desperate. you have gone down a layer below. See, what I love about your commentaries, you're not limiting yourself कि भाई यहीं पे लेते हैं यही stop रहेगा. You've ensured to factor in a previous swing low. That's mature. That's a good job. That trade might do well in a bigger scheme of things. If Nifty turns around well, we have a 3 day holiday, and in 3 days, Trump can do a lot of things like going to a park, fighting with people, and playing ping pong, and going to some DD parties, anything. Oh, playing golf as well. Maybe. Definitely. Yeah. So if anything bad happens there, that's a problem. If if markets turn around well, that trade should do all right in a bigger scheme of things. Okay. In a bigger scheme of things, you've got an important stop loss. What I love about your trade setup is you've gotten a good entry. You've gotten good entry at almost a double bottom situation. You have not taken these double bottom as a swing low stop. You have also gone a way forward and preferred a previous swing low, which is 157, entry wise on point, and structurally looks all right as long as PSU Bank doesn't crack much. So there is that nuance to it. So it's a bit of a wait and watch. And we will only, open markets will only open on Monday, so we have an extended weekend. Can't do much there. Kindly share the link of Excel once more. Okay. As usual, I'm not going to send the Excel link. I'll send you the docs link. In this document, if you go to charting prompts and link, you will find the drive link. That is the only way we are dealing with Excel. ठीक है? Excel का link यहाँ पे है. It will be uploaded always and updated every day. Currently updated a few minutes back. ठीक है? You will have the latest version every day. But I'm not gonna send the link of the folder itself because this is a discipline thing. You will be shared this link, and if possible, you don't have to always ask it. You can just bookmark it. There is a very crazy feature that has come in the world called as bookmarks. You click on it, and voila, the thing is on. It just stays, and it somehow, it stays with you for life, or as long as the PC is not having a virus. Okay, so that's another bet. What else? Okay. You picked Mohit has picked Coal India at 479, looking for BB breakout, breaking resistance, volume double, MACD crossover, energy positive. I love it. That's a layered argument. Not one, but five layered backup. I was searching for Mohit. I was supposed to search for Coal India. Okay. You've entered at 479. So you're looking for a breakout. Okay. One, it's a higher low. I mean, you're looking at it from a momentum perspective कि अब ये breakout कर गया, it might sustain. There's one thing, and we have had a situation. Yes, Sanjay, I will also read your query. At the moment, I'm answering one. I will read. So it's a long message. I'll get through it. Okay. Mohit, one thing. It is good to take such a breakout stock. If you zoom out, it's a proper uptrending momentum behavior. Proper, बहुत बढ़िया, no problem. Except for the one fact, and this is something that has happened only today and earlier also while the war was going on, this was happening, that today happens to be Thursday. Tomorrow is a holiday. You have 3 days for Lord Trump to mess with the positions. So at such times, if possible, and this is something that is for everyone, if it's either a Friday or a Friday being a holiday, an extended weekend. With that, if you've got any global chaos happening like it is right now, preferably hang in for one more day. Open पहले minute Monday को ले लो. Case one, markets open up very positive on a Monday, it gaps up. You buy it the first minute on gap up, or you avoid it on a Thursday. If tomorrow is a holiday, that will just ensure that your trade and the funds deployed with this Coal India trade are no more vulnerable to 3 day ambiguity that can be coming in from Lord Trump himself. Okay? So just that you've done a good job. That's a breakout trade. Now, case one, if there's some ambiguity, there's some drama which happens because Lord Trump messes up. In that case, what will happen is you'll have a beautiful see. If Monday happens to be a gap down situation, that just gives you all the more leverage to read this as a morning star. With that, you can defend a previous swing low. So it may come to here and then give you a 4C. Day one gap down. Day two, you'll also wait for a green. If that happens, you get some more time. With every next day you get more control to the trade, right? So that way you're better off sometimes looking cooling off. The same has also happened in case of capital market stocks, if you remember. Capital markets has been moving up like this, and then 3 4 दिन it cooled off. We've got better entries in that area with a reversal candlestick pattern. That's the kind of behavior I am expecting from markets at the moment. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to read Sanjay Sir's query. Now, this was I sold GTT OCO. Okay. GTT OCO. Okay. Which I had to sell and then improve. Whether try to square off the trade by again buying the same, both put having same expiry. I think I have done a mistake. Okay. You're saying you firstly sold the GTT OCO Nifty 23,800 PE entry 92 target 50 SL 135. Are you sure it was a GTT OCO or was it a BO, meaning a bracket order, Sanjay ji? Because if it is GTT OCO, you're fine. You're still fine. The only problem is because you've sold an option. Because you've sold an option, your 1 से 1.5 lakh or 1.5 lakh margin would be on hold. And then to improve, blunder trying to square off the trade by again buying the same put at market price. हाँ, so when you have GTT, if there is any bracket order, bracket basically means a trade price, an upper level, a lower level. If it is a short, you expect markets to go down. So that's your target. That's your stop loss. That's your BO. That's your BO entry. That's your BO stop. And that's your BO target in case of short. ठीक है? In case of longs, a bracket order entry is here. And because you're long, you expect markets to go upwards. So that becomes your bracket order target. And that becomes your bracket order stop loss. Are you understanding what a bracket is? If that's your entry, you have two ranges, a target, a stop loss. That's what it is. And the OCO part of it basically means कि अगर आपकी if your entry is done now, because markets are not like gods and they cannot have two states at the same time. Markets cannot be if this is 100. Markets in a given microsecond, in a given micro minute, will never be at 110 and 90 at the same given point. So, any which ways, only one of the orders will be executed. एक तो target पे जाएगा, either it will reach the target or the stop loss. So if it goes to target, what will happen is this one trade gets executed, and that means the other one will be canceling, meaning one execution cancels the other. That is OCO. That is what even a BO does. BO also has a similar feature. So it was delivery. Okay, I understand. If you're delivery trading it, I understand you might have taken a JTT OCO with that. So you've also exited the put. So you're not holding the put now, is it? Oh, you've added another put. So at the moment, okay, Sanjay ji, can you check in and tell me if you have a holding of any put? Because you seem to have shorted one and then you also have bought one while the GTD is already on. So then my query is, are you holding any put as of today close? If not, तो फिर तो you're not holding anything. But a GTD order is on. So maybe with time, I mean, the moment, the first, safest thing you can do is if you see, you've basically shorted somewhere. You've shorted somewhere with a stop loss and a target. But midway through the target, you've already manually also bought it. You've shorted earlier, you've also bought it. Meaning manually override of a trade. So you have a short done, you have a buy done, you don't anymore hold any trade, except the fact there is still a OCO on. So the only thing you can do is the moment markets open on Monday, as soon as possible, try canceling or canceling the whole order. That's the way, and you would be done. Can we do monthly options with Coal India? I think Coal India can be used for monthly options. For any Anita ji, if you're worried about if a monthly option exit, just get to options and search for Coal India. If it is the name is there, it will for sure have a whole put and call thing. Otherwise, go to NSE India. NSE India, you can go to option chain. In option chain, you will find if you can see Coal India in the select symbol, if you can see Coal India, there is one, so it is an FNO stock. Where is it? That is Coal India. Or I think on NSE indices, you will find FNO stock list. FNO stock list. I think there has to be list somewhere, maybe on NSE indices or somewhere. Let me find. That can also be helped. At the moment, I cannot find it. The moment I'll find it, I'll let you know. I think it should be on NSE, Nifty indices. Then give me a minute. If at all I find it here, that would be good. ब्रॉड बेस्ड में तो नहीं है. Sectorial also doesn't have it. Thematic doesn't have it. Then we are left with the fourth one, which is strategy. And strategy also seems to not have it. So I'll find a way. There must be an Excel thing that can get you all the list of stocks. I'll find that maybe next time and give to you. Okay? If I get through it, I may find one, but then these, I don't rely on such websites. Don't mean these lists. They're not, they're not obligated to update it. Though at times can be delayed or old, which is what NSE will never do. So I'll find the original source for them. Okay. With that, what else? Okay, we had something with yes, P focus. Bought P focus, BB contrast setup. Yep, B50 was discussed for a while, and I think should do well. If I get to all P focus. Looks fine. You've put an SL of 297, which is the recent swing low. हाँ, if possible, ये जो विक्स है, these wicks 1 and 2, अगर 1 2 3 4 रुपए का ही फर्क है, if the difference is not too huge, if this is 299 and these wicks are about 297 or 294, conservatively add that as well. Only point being, currently, are we all in agreement that okay? Are we all in agreement that currently for the next, with crude oil shooting all the way to 110, 113, with an extended weekend on, with Lottery being so active like a cranky baby, it is good if you are loading up any long positions on equity. It is good to have a bit of a defensive stance. ये हर वक्त नहीं होगा. There will be times when we'll already normally be only considering this. ठीक है? But because we have such defensive times wherein something cranky can come up, it is better that you can stretch some SL by 3 4 रुपए to factor in a previous swing high. Okay, am I making sense? That quick thumbs up here in agreement. Just a bit defensive so that you don't get stop out by 1 2 paisa, 1 2 रुपया. That's the rationale here. Eventually, when the markets are back, so the moment Nifty is back to the happy behavior, when the Nifty behaves like a happy doggo, it starts going properly. If the uptrend is clear, abhi to it's done that and it's playing a tug of war in that area. With there's something to discuss about that liquidity grab as well. I'll discuss that in a while. But then the moment it breaks out of this area, it's a much clearer outlook. Maybe that a higher lows on, and then an approach towards 25 500 26 will be an easier zone. At the moment, we're still dealing with a turnaround. I have Q Power at 930. I have Q Power at 930 and to 970, 43% return. If you have entered Q Power in that area of 930, you're sitting on a 40 something percent return. Well, depends on Kamji how much quantity you have. Part one. Second, you have entered in the right area. If I have to draw, that becomes my CNH. And that also becomes my, not exactly CNH, but CNH-ish. Something is there. That whole area. Not exactly CNH, but something like that. So if you're entered in 930, you're holding on to that ride. One, you've done a good job. Second, desperate levels on Q Power would be ye area. Why? Because on that 20-day ride, that's the only area where it cooled off for 2 days. The rationale of this 2 days is that If a Mario was playing this game, if it is riding upwards happily, 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 in the 2 days where it is here, it may be scared ki, oh, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna fall. And these 2 days ensure that it was a sideways behavior. And that is why this becomes an important level that way. Very short term into outlook, but an important level, not in a bigger scheme of things. A short term outlook is that. So maybe if you want to hold it for longer, part one, trail yourselves to maybe that area, or part book if you have gotten more returns than you wanted. If you're happy with the returns, at least part book, quarter book, if you want to. That is a defensive conservative approach that you get back to cash a bit because एक trade में से 30-40% निकल जाना over maybe 15-20 days an outstanding behavior. ठीक है? So that's completely up to you. Okay, now we'll pause with stocks, please, because we still haven't started the main session. I know that I've told yesterday that we'll discuss more stocks, but let me get with the basics done. How the market looking? What is the overall commentary? And once that is done, we'll get back to all things stocks. We'll have a longer talk with stocks today. Okay? Okay, markets have been flattish, downish, flattish. So which started with a gap down. We started with a gap down, which is a continuation of yesterday's drama that crude or UK oil is shooting upwards. UK oil shot upwards and UK oil threatened some 115 levels. With that, whenever oil is expensive, India doesn't like it. And so we gapped down. We gapped down from yesterday's close of 24.92 all the way to an open of 23,996, a 100-point gap down. And then the markets threatened some important levels. Guys, anybody remembers liquidity grab as a concept? Thumbs up if you remember liquidity grab as a concept. Stop loss hunt, liquidity grab. Remember, liquidity grab is when the markets will fall only a wee bit below a previous level, which happened today. Only a wee bit, and then turn around. That happens to be one of the live demos of liquidity grab. This time I'll show you more, but that right there is an important demo of. If you look at that low, the low is 23,813. Today's lows happen to be 23,796. So it is a low by 20 more points. And with that 20 points, a lot of stop losses have gotten hit in that area. And those would be then also be used to buy. And then, markets recovered about 200 points from the bottom of 800 something all the way to, it went to 104. So 300-point recovery and then a close at, 100-point pullback. So that is a live demo of how that works. Okay. Yeah, back to markets, a gap down, a threatened gap down. And then what I like about this behavior, if I don't have to look at any global commentary, and if I just have to look at that behavior, it tells me intraday it opened something like this, went all the way to low, which happens to be a previous swing low, turned around, went to a swing high, and then cooled off somewhere here. That's what the intraday has done. But the fact that it held on to some previous swing low and has turned around, maybe a hint that this will act, which is a 23,800 level, may act as an important level going forward. But again, if Trump says, hey, no blockade, I mean, more blockade, no shifts pass away, then I mean, in a minute it will be cracked open on Monday. But chartically speaking, and that's why I said, if I don't have to look at any worldly news and look at it chartically only, that may become an important level in a bigger scheme of things going forward. If Nifty opens up here at 24,200 on Monday, I expect some, calmness again, back to recovery stages and attempt of newer highs, specifically 24,600. That's an important level at the moment. When that's cracked, we might have a bigger momentum upwards. As of now, wait and watch. That's the background. With that as a background, today's day all the more looks less of a crack, more of a recovery. So when we're looking at this, it is 0.74% down. But now that we have done that commentary, what is your view? Do you also think that that recovery is basically a bit of a breather where markets recovered about 300 points and closed at 23,400 from a bottom of 23 something, 800? Okay. It's a flat day, but the background that crude shot up so much and then the recovery is something that is noteworthy at such days. Whenever there's a bottom, which I'll show somewhere, whenever there's a bottom and a wick, bottom and a wick, bottom and a wick, Those bottoms in a wick have a story to tell. They bottom in a wick. These are the areas that tell you that there can be, more of a turnaround happening in those areas. And currently, something like that has happened in the recent charts. So maybe it may, hopefully, should act well. If not, we'll know. That's the background. Let's deep dive into what have indexes done. The math looks a bit off. You have less advances, more declines, a bit more declines. Yes, with time, if at all Trump keeps saying the same thing, state of hormus, markets don't react to the same behavior multiple times. So if tomorrow happens to be a COVID, it will not be as crazy as the 2020. But if it happens to be a COVID, a new vid, that will bring up chaos. But the same thing done twice is never impactful. Okay. Uh, Markets down 0.74. Mid cap is 7.77, so flattish, not bad as compared to Nifty 50. Small cap is 0.48, which is different, which is interesting that small cap haven't impacted much in a bigger scheme of things. 0.5 while Nifty is zero point 0.7. Sectorially, you have metal down 2.12. That happens to be the first day off in the metal series after a proper one-way rally upwards. Today happens to be one day when metal has cooled off a bit after one-way rallies. PSU Bank, something is of a worry. For the last 3 days back to back, we've had 2, 1, and 1.68% down. So we have three back-to-back red days. That's something we'll have to track. Consumers, all right, midway through realty is something that is cracked. FMCG is something that is FMCG, if you notice, has done well over the last 2 to 3 days. Four sideways day, one gap up day, and today happens to be 1.35% down. So we'll go check FMCG also. Private bank not as bad. After that, all of these are flattish. So nothing to worry in all of that word. If we go back to positives, we don't have much positives except IT, which is also a flattish. Everything 0.76 or zero point 0.6 onwards, downwards is all flat. Nothing outstanding there. Unke ranks भी matter नहीं करते. Even if an IT might have promoted itself in ranks, that's a no, it's a sideways day. It's not an outstanding behavior. The worry will not even be metal because metal has been doing a proper upway behavior and then maybe a 2% fall, which is completely all right. There has to be a profit booking. With any such profit bookings, we'll be all the more ready for any potential turnarounds that happen. So when metals are going down, I am happy. We may get some entries going forward. That's something to do with metals. PSU needs to be checked because PSU is being a bit messy. Let's get to sheet and see what's happening with the ranks. That's today's sheet. That's today's data. I've added two columns here, which is one difference and five difference. That's basically a difference of today's rank versus previous day's rank. That is one difference. Five difference is something that I've added new because there have been times when something slowly rises up in ranks. And that is something that we tend to miss because if something's rising two, net 10 rank gainer over a week might not come into our radar because we look at it day by day. So I also wanted a five difference which basically uses the current rank, goes back to look for a previous rank which is maybe somewhere here. That is the fifth rank. So I am doing a difference of both of them in something called five difference. Quick thumbs up if I understood the utility of one difference, which I've used earlier also, and five difference that is now. Okay, with five difference, I am trying to just scan through some outstanding stock behavior over a week time frame. These will be important signals of any rank boosts. So we have chemical rising up over a week. We have autos doing something that needs to be checked because auto has risen a bit. Today has been one of the major contribution, but overall 10 ranks. Otherwise, India Intent is not something we track. Nifty Bank is down for a while, which is also evident. Both PSU Private Bank have been doing something a bad behavior, and that is also clear with Finbros, Private Bank, PSU Bank. They are all losing ranks. The worst being PSU. Is that more clearer with a five difference thing? Because it literally uses the last 4 days behavior. All of that is a subtraction from a fifth day, previous 5 days versus current day thing, giving us a bigger view of what has happened over a week. Okay. So we will keep rolling that 5 day difference to get what's happening in a bigger scheme of things. Okay. That is that. But let's look at intraday level. What has changed today? What have been the outstanding behaviors on an intraday term? Those are my top 20, of which I don't see much outstanding behavior except that you have metal, which underperformed today, and we all know what's metal doing. Metal is has given one red day after many green days, so I would just call it that the man needs a bit of a rest. Nifty metal is Nifty metal has been doing outstanding behavior in the recent past. Nifty metal, that is a proper one-way ride. So if it cools off, are we not ready with quick levels? Let's draw some levels. I have one level coming from that area. That also factors a gap. If possible, try factoring that gap. So you have two things covered with one level. Second is a recent swing low. So I have both of these levels, which will be important for me to re-enter. That is something I'll look forward in case of metal whenever there is any potential re-entry happening. Are we all clear about all things metals now? Yes? Okay. After that, we'll go check PSU banks because that's behaving like a cranky baby. PSU बैंक is that toddler जिसको potty लगी हुई है. कुछ तो गलत खाया है इसने. Look at that one. It's on a one-way ride down, and it is attempting some levels. As of right now, I just have that level as the last ray of hope. If it doesn't turn around, that means PSU might not be a bit off control and might just sort of crack through. With that, we'll not be bullish with all things PSU Bank only and only if it behaves like a Raja Beta and then turns around and goes back up in that range and behaves and breathes. Are we willing to look positively at PSU Bank as a sector, or else we'll have to sort of write it off or ignore commentary, ignore long commentary for a while. As of now, we're just hoping for that last turnaround. If that survives, it is good at or it is bad at. It is a do it or die it. Okay. That's what's up with PSU Bank. What else is happening? Well, top 20 is effortless, smooth run. If I go to intraday, we have a 5-4 rank loser. We have a 6 and 8 rank gainer. We have chemicals rising. We have to check that. EV has been rising. EV and new age automation is rising. If EV is rising and auto did not, there must be something that's happening on auto. We'll check that. 8 rank move on IT, which is average. See, there might be an 8 rank move, but the percent gain intraday is nothing. So it's a sideways, then a rank up, which is not great. And we have already visited what's up with PSU Bank. So maybe chemical is something we'll have to track because 6 rank up, trying to become a hero. We'll see if that is good. Let's check Nifty chemicals. Okay, that's good. Interesting. Interesting because Nifty in the last 4 or 5 days has been 3 days of red, 4 days of sideways, and a doji. While this one was 3 4 days of green and then continued upwards high. So momentum wise, good. Today attempted a cool off, recovered all the way. That's even positive. So chemical stocks need to be kept eyes on. Recent swing highs are A and B. This is a bigger bunch, all the more important. That's all things chemicals. Let's look at new age. Yep, that. That's Nifty EV and Nifty Auto is here. Auto has been behaving like a messy, cranky baby, while EV is on a proper trend. There's a difference. That can you all also call that as a visual divergence? I'm not saying it is an RSI divergence, but divergence basically means alag behavior. Something of the same sector ka one part is doing a different behavior. Something of the same sector ke main board stocks, which is Nifty Auto. Nifty Auto is doing a lower high and a sideways. You have Nifty EV and autos doing a higher high and a sideways. Are you understanding? Can I call that as a definition, not the RSI kind of divergence, but can I then call it a divergence or a different behavior in the same pack of stocks? Quick thumbs up if you agree. A divergence in, between auto world itself, EV bracket doing better, auto mainboard bracket, the usual oil guzzling behaviors ones doing a different behavior. That is something that I was saying. Abhishek ji, yes, I'll share the link. There you go. The link is resent for anyone who wants it. Back to EV versus auto. So we need to also scan for EV stocks because if EV is doing that better and also sold off, but that wick came in and turned around, it might start to move up. So EV needs to be checked. Now let's go back. EV is something we check. Chemical is something we need to analyze. उसके अलावा we'll also need to check 5-day basis पे which stocks or sectors have been doing outstanding. I am curious to explore that as a point of view. In here, chemical is something we'll of course explore. EV is something already in the list. And you have bad boys called as banks, which is fine. We're skipping them. So we have EV and chemicals on. It's 9:42. Two approaches. One, we can open the forum for stocks that you want them analyzed. Two, we analyze chemicals in EV. Which way to go? Top 15 comments will give the outcome. 15 comments में जो ज़्यादा होगा, if it is the sector analysis, we will do sector analysis. If it is your stocks, we'll do stocks. Wow, I love it. I mean, I've got an outstanding result there. It's literally one way clear. I've got a proper one-way outcome of sector analysis, EV versus auto. That's the thing to do. Okay, then we'll do EV versus auto. Let's go. Okay, Control Shift L. This is how see, now that I'm sure that I'm supposed to scan through two sectors, which is auto and EV, sorry, EV and chemicals, I will then go here and scan for EV. This is the stock sheet, not the index sheet. In here, you can come in and scan for EV. All the index-based stocks are here. So if you scan for EV, you will find the EV stocks, which happens to be a huge list. That's 36 stocks. Now it's going to be something. We'll try getting it done quickly. Guys, all eyes, be a bit quick. I mean, I'll try being a bit quick because we have about 30 of these stocks, and then we also must have some chemicals. Chemicals also, let's see how many chemicals do we have. Chemicals is also about 21. So we've got 50 something stocks. I'm going to be a bit fast, so follow along. If you're already planning to go midway through, chawal kha rahe ho, chole kha rahe ho, crazy. So the complete blame is on you, not on me. I think I'm going to be a bit fast on this one. Okay, that's Amara Raja, one-way move post the whole post-war period, a proper shot back up. Swing low wise, that becomes an area because it's a previous area. If it cools off in that area and you have a reversal candlestick pattern, that's a decent re-entry. So maybe we'll Control C and V. We'll start planting some re-entry levels of 863. 860-ish. When I write 860, you're all aware, right? It's not exactly 860. I'm trying to be fast, but you understand that is the area I'm drawing. Because you're live, I assume that you understand that यहाँ पे आया तो 860 पे लेना नहीं है. After, if it falls, अगर ये गिर रहा है तो गिरने दो. If there is a reversal candlestick pattern, that's when you buy. Are we clear about it? Basic rules. Understood? I'm writing 860. That doesn't mean 860 itself. Okay. Now I'm going to be quick now that the rules are set. Ashok. On a fall, this is a main board auto stock, which is showing in the exact auto behavior, not to be tracked, not to be really chased at the moment. Because it is showing the main board behavior, which is the nifty auto behavior. There it is, Aether Energies. Also happens to be an auto IPO stocks, IPO proper IPO textbook IPO behavior. Listing day के बाद से higher लो कर रहा है on a proper uptrend on life highs. So whenever, if possible, you get it on a cool off. If possible, if you get it on any turnarounds like that swing low, If it comes nearby, that's a decent entry with the smallest risk reward. So maybe 880. Bajaj Auto is a main board IT auto stock, so I don't expect it to behave well. But wow, that's on a breakout. That's on a proper break. Oh yes, Anita just traded this one. Yes, so that's on a breakout that has broken away from an important area. With that, look for ORBs in it. Maybe ORB at best. ORB that too if markets open pretty on Monday. Bharat Forge. Bharat Forge is amazing, outstanding, crazy behavior. Auto is doing that. Bharat Forge is doing that. So whenever and if at all auto behaves, which it did today, also auto did well today. If auto doesn't stabilizes itself here, one of the leading main board auto. When I say main board, I mean Nifty auto member. When I say something else like Ather, that is an EV stock. It comes from Nifty New Age EV, blah blah blah. Main board auto is all the Ashok Leylands or iShares or Bharat Forge and so on. So Bharat Forge is one of the main board auto stock. With that current behavior, if at all auto turns around, this may be the leading stock which will turn around. So that swing low might as well do an important behavior. That area needs to be tracked 1830. Bosch, okay. With Bosch, I can just extend that as a level which is a historical level. Chartically nearby, it is not a level except there. In the newer pattern, it's not the behavior. So maybe just that. 35,000. CG Power. On a proper uptrend, if at all, whenever possible, like that area, such an important area of polarity. If it comes in that area, nearby to it, 790 might do well. Eicher Motor. Eicher is trying to turn around, is in a sideways area. Bharat Forge is not a pure auto. Yes, it is. But then I think it is also mainboard Bharat auto stocks. It is a CNX, it's a Nifty auto stock. That is a mainboard thing. Eicher Motor, maybe. Can you all assume that this may bring in a squeeze? Might be a squeeze. No, not really. I was expecting that sideways here to give me a squeeze. It's not a squeeze. With that, it's sideways-ish. We're supposed to at least factor that area as a swing low. That level may be a gap fill level. Nothing much there. I won't call that one for any view. It's also mainboard IT auto stock. That's Excite, which of course is a new age thing, which is also an auto ancillary, something that supports the main auto things on a proper one-way ride. And so was the first stock, which was this one. This was Amara Raja, and so is Excite. They're both battery specialists on a one-way ride upwards. If at all it cools off to that level, should do well for two reasons. One, a previous swing high. Second, also a recent swing low. So 340 is something you need to track. Fluorochem. I thought it was a chemical stock. Okay, amazing. If I zoom out, I can see maybe a desperate attempt of a triangle. That right there is a proper triangle breakout. That's also trend line breakout. That's the triangle. That's the trend line breakout. So trend line breakout has happened today. With that, it already attempted a previous level and is breaking out. So attempt ORBs on it. The next levels are the higher highs. So ORB on that one. Force mode is a main board stock. Showing a main board behavior. Auto is also cranky. Force mode is also cranky. Skip it. Hero MotoCorp is also a main board auto stock, which is showing a main board, in fact, a weaker than a main board behavior. Skip it. Himadri especially kept. Oh my God. That one's really rocking and rolling. What's up? That's moving well. That's wow. There's nothing to do there. Honestly speaking, such stocks are basically a miss. The only level I would attempt it for a re-entry is that swing low. And I don't expect it to come there. It's on a proper momentum. It may not come here, so I'll just maybe I'm cool, better off to avoid it rather than chasing it. I'm not someone who chase it just because it's breaking out. क्योंकि stocks की कमी नहीं आने वाली. So maybe the level that I think is 550, 560. Hyundai looks like a mainboard stock because Hyundai cars showing a mainboard behavior. Skip it. JBMA. JBMA is a higher high, higher low since post-war, which is nice. Otherwise, that is an important area of polarity. So if at all it cools off till here, you have a decent entry 608. JWL. Post cool off has been doing well. Swing low wise, the previous swing high, which may happen to also be a recent swing low, can be some level. But chartically speaking, I'm not very confident of it because it's been doing a dead lower low downtrending behavior. So not really a view on it. Ashok Lane is done. Sorry, sir, that's done. That was done a while back. Maybe if possible, I'll revisit. KI industry is on a one-way ride. The only level you may get is that. Can you also resemble a similar structure of two wicks on Nifty? Anyone who observed that, when I say it now, can give me a thumbs up. I would want to know the count of people who can also parallelly visualize that wick behavior on Nifty. Also happens to be a similar, maybe that's something resembling that. Okay? Just that. Okay. Sorry. We were here. KEI can be that level of entry at best. If at all it cracks through, may be a problem because I'm pretty sure that's an RSI divergence. That is a cute double top. That should be RSI divergence. That isn't showing, but that for sure is that versus that. So with that, if it cools off, look for entry in that area. That's the only thing. Except, okay, next levels may be A plus B and something like a gap. So I'm writing currently a 4750 and maybe a 4600. I'll write both of them. 4750 slash 4600. I hope it doesn't divide. Okay, it did not. Good. KPIT Tech. Okay, maybe they're providing tech to these. I think that's a more of an IT behavior that might be attempting a squeeze. BB squeeze. BB squeeze was done earlier. It's attempting a double top breakout. If it happens, that's an IT point of view. I'm not even factoring it in new age things. But maybe they provide technology to some new cars and all the automation because all the new cars require all the Android phones and everything from GPS to so on and so forth. Plus now a battery management equipment. Well, that's LTTS again, an IT behavior. I'm not going to comment on that. M&M for sure is a main board stock because Scorpio and skip it. Maruti, of course, is a main board stock because Alto and skip it. Motherson Sumi. That is an auto. It's very, and that's doing all right. We're literally looking at only that as an area. ये area छोटा तो skip it. It's not a great level to look at. If these levels are cracked through, that is the level maybe. That whole gap fill is what is ongoing. That's the only thing I'm looking at. ये हो गया तो then skip it. I don't think there's much there. M Sumi. Mm, maybe that is a swing low. So a 38 on that. And Motherson was there, which is maybe a 120. So a 120 on that. Ola Electric. Ola Electric is, well, there's some battery news that happened. That was crazy. But you all remember a conversation between Ola versus Ather when that breakout was happening? Quick thumbs up for people who remember an Ola versus Ather and a Kachra conversation about why Ola is a lower high, lower low. Well, at the same time, Ather was at a life high and doing the same Marubozu behavior. Remember that. Okay? with Ola, you got to factor that whole area. I have some levels coming from there, and that may just be the levels. Otherwise, there's nothing much. I would preferably avoid if there is a possibility, because Aether is showing a much solid behavior. Again, I'll wow, Aether is any day better. Aether, look at that one. That's the boy who went to Sarkari, was, maybe a Sarkari guy, but got to ICC schools. And then you have Ola. Ola is the guy who went to Sarkari schools, also chose the back benches and started doing all the wrong nashe. And here is Ola today. Okay? And so Ola is something I'd preferably avoid, not even comment on it, because Ola versus Aether, you would always go for Aether. Electra Green Tech is on a proper uptrend. Chartically a proper higher high, mid-war scenario. So mid-war say yeah, this whole thing is on. Not the end of war. End of war is March end. Mid-war is mid-March, which is nice. I like that behavior. That is my previous swing low, needs to be factored in. Currently doing a higher low already. So maybe you'll have some momentum on it as you go outwards. That 1180, 1190 is an important level, but keep eyes, look for ORB also. Reliance. Reliance is only in new age AV because Ambani ji himself uses Rolls Royce and Land Rovers for security. That's the only reason they're in new age AV. I don't think there is any other reason. They've got like 1,050, 60 cars in their whole thing. And I think they're the biggest customer of all things auto. So they're like, ले लो भाई इनको Reliance. Ambani is telling कि उनको ऐड होना है ईवी ग्रुप में तो just add him. Just joking. Okay. Reliance is skip it. Reliance is Reliance. Why am I even looking at it? Reliance is Reliance, guys. I'm not going to comment on from an auto point of view. Schaeffler, that is a difficult spelling. I have struggled through that. Okay? That is the first observation. Second observation is nothing. I mean, there's literally no level. I don't have a level on it. So no comments. I don't have a comment on it. I don't have a level. I don't have a comment. Sona BMW Precision Forgings, that's on a proper one-way ride, higher low. Maybe that, but I don't think that level is even coming ever. I don't see that coming any soon. So 563 is something I'll say, but I'll also say ORB. So I'll say 563 slash ORB because it's on a proper uptrend. Tata Nexi Alagapanji, give me a moment. I am still going through a bunch of stocks which are not IT. I'm not going to focus on Tata Elxsi at the moment. I have chemicals to deal with. I have new age auto to deal with. Tata Chemicals. Tata Chemicals is on a one-way ride approach. Also an important area of breakout. So keep eyes on those levels and those levels. So I'm going to write maybe a 780 and a 750. Tata Elxsi, there it is. Elixir is I'm not even going to comment on Elixir as a thing, as an auto thing. It's got more of an category also lower low proper kachra behavior, not really something that's strength enough. So kya laga panji, preferably don't look into enter this one on a proper downtrend. Skip. Tata Tech. Tata Tech is doing relatively better again. Another IT-ish stock. That is the previous swing low. You need to factor that on a way out upwards. That's the risk. 556. TII India. That's a good stock. Chartically seems to be doing fine. That's the area. We're looking at 2875, 2870. TMPV. That's the one that's cooling off, doing a nice reversal candlestick pattern. Preferably on a higher high low. Find it may do well. Proper upward momentum. TMPV, which is again something that's hardcore OG auto, not to be looked as new age. TVS motor, again mainboard, not something that's important. Minda, that's something you can stretch on that level as an area of support, nothing else. Lumax, Lumax Tech. That's doing a higher low mid wall times से ही बढ़ना शुरू हो गया था. Your swing lows are, I'm trying to factor that because that's the nearest I can see. I can get a bit desperate and call that, but that's too much. So maybe here, that's it. And the point is, the observation is in the last 10 days, this has fallen much. So it's not a leading stock. Can you all understand that it's not doing a behavior ki 2-3 दिन रुक के फिर turn around हो रहा है? It's actually cracked all the way. So I would not really look at it much, and that's why maybe no comments on that one also. That's all of your new age auto EV. I'll also look into chemicals. Chemicals, we have a few, not so many, so we will try commenting on them immediately. And with that, it's a wrap. Today's worst stock is Vedanta. It may not be, I'm not sure. Guys, let me check at Vedanta. I've got enough queries on it. Why is Vedanta worst? See, I'll tell you one thing. If Vedanta has split, उसका percent difference बहुत बड़ा दिखेगा. Demerger wise, it may start trading bad, but it is not 700 का 200 हुआ है. Doesn't mean you have taken an 80% or 60-70% loss. You will get five more stocks coming in your kitty eventually. It's a demerger of the main thing, and it's like a Vedanta being a mommy and giving out five babies. Those five babies are, one of them is I think one of them is an aluminum stock, the other is a steel stock. There's, I think, a power stock, and there are two more. So five babies are coming out of Vedanta, mommy. So it'll be five Vedanta babies. Don't look at it as a completely bad stock at the moment. The prices will adjust. You will see the charts will eventually adjust. Another case of similar behavior is TMPV. TMPV में भी तो यही हुआ था. Recently, when it got split, it was looking bad, a huge gap down. But then it gets adjusted. There is something called as adjusting the split adjusted data, dividend adjusted data. All of these things take a bit of a time. Give it 1 or 2 days, you might find the chart looking much more smoother. And you will see Vedanta will be then, VEDL will be priced better. You will no more see prices like 760. All of that will be getting to 1/5 or whatever the split ratio is, and then it will start looking like a similar chart but at between 300 and 200. That's how it will eventually happen. Don't be worried about it. It's not a 70-80% loss on your price. You'll get five more stocks coming in your portfolio. Back to chemical things, we are at 10.3. We will aim to finish by 10.10. Aarti Industries is on a one-way outstanding rally. The only levels that look handsome and pretty to me are these, which may not even come, which may not arrive here. It's already aiming at it has done a proper loud breakout at that levels of 493. So aim for ORBs. ORB is the only way. Otherwise, I don't see much happening there. Atul. Atul has that as an important previous swing high. So looking at 66 at 6,700. Nothing else on that one. A proper uptrend rally since pre-war, mid-war, post-war, everything. On a higher low, if it pulls off, maybe an entry. Again, not really outstanding. Maybe a skip. For the point that April से जब से Nifty बढ़ रहा है, this one's not doing such a pretty behavior. So maybe a skip. This is how you skip a few of them because they have not done a good job. Again, another behavior of a skip. Skip it. Coromandel. Another lower high, lower low, setting some previous swing low, did not break out of a previous swing high. Nothing of an outstanding behavior. Deepak. That's a better one. That's much better stock. Look at that behavior. 3 दिन का Nifty cool off also was a cool off on this one, and then a quick back attempting a life high. Expect maybe a breakout on not a life high, I mean a recent high. Except a breakout on Monday. Expect a breakout on Monday. With that, aim for ORBs. Even if you're looking for longs, your risks may not be huge. Your risks are about 4%. I think it's not a huge one. That's also a pretty cup and handle. Very well pointed, Antaji. So you're looking for, I mean, I'm going to comment ORB 1745, ORB slash 1745 slash 4% risk. That's an extended comment. Accordingly, read it. Yeah, Eat Perry, I think this one deals with sugar, if I'm not wrong. Eat Perry deals with sugar, the sugar stock, if I remember. Chartingly bad one. Look at that one. Not even breaking out. A resistance on a previous swing high. Pathetic. Call it cut and skip. Fluorochem was also a member of New Age EV. We already saw happening here. It's a breakout. We also saw it in the stock discussion today. So it's on a breakout. Look for ORB. लिखा है यहाँ पे ORB. So I'm going to copy it, paste it here. GNFC. Nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. You're looking at that, but I want some conservative approach also. So maybe that you have that as a level, but I'm going to also add that whole level as a level. That is a consolidation of breakdown level. So maybe that level can play some bond level. So also, guys, if at all Gujarat opens negative tomorrow, Gujarat Narmada Valley Fertilizer and Chemicals, not Gujarat State. If it opens red, sorry, if it opens red tomorrow on Monday, don't chase it. If it is falling, good for us. If it comes to these levels and then gives a turnaround, good for us. As long as it doesn't show any, even the only reason you want to entertain a red candle is just be then a red comes with a wick. If there is a wick like that, that may be a day you want to entertain a red. Okay? Quick thumbs up if you understood the red commentary I gave that if it cools off, it is falling is good. As long as you have a turnaround, that's good. Or a long wick on a red or a doji or something is good. That's a hammer. So you're looking at levels of 454. HSCL. Wow, that's a rocket. Was it also done here? Yes, it was. I'm just going to copy the level and paste it here. I copied the level from the previous thing. It was also a member of the other thing, so I copied it and pasted it here. Lind India. The only Lind I like is the chocolates. And that's Lindt, Lindt. Okay, that visually, I don't like the candle behavior. It's pathetic, but that also makes up a squeeze. That's a triangle ascending squeeze. Otherwise, I don't have much there. I will share the sheet. Am I audible? Oh, sorry. Am I audible now? Oh, sorry. I had the device also paired with the phone. I'm really sorry. I forgot to disconnect it from phone, and a call came on that device. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Okay, Lind India is headed for a breakout. It's a squeeze. If I look for BB, maybe I have something. Yep, that's the only thing. Maybe a squeeze on that one. Also a life high. So nothing other than that. Charting, I'm not really comfortable commenting on this one. The only level I look at is this one. Or OB, I'm not really liking, so I'm not going to comment on that one. Too petty a level to discuss. Navin. I always look at Naveen Fluorine and look at Atta Chakki. Because I look at Naveen Floor and I think it's Atta Chakki. And every time it confuses me. Okay. Naveen Fluorine is on a breakout. It has done a breakout there. So, well, look at re-entry in that area. Otherwise, nothing else. 6660. Nothing else there. Maybe look for ORB also on a proper momentum. PCBL. Phillips Carbon. Okay. Nothing below this. Iske niche, if it comes, do not even attempt it. So 279, 280. Anything below 280, don't even think of trading it. Because below, if it is behaving, we are expecting a lower high, lower low pattern only. Don't chase it beyond it. Okay? Light. Mm, nothing except today's low, which is I am desperately drawing this level. I am not even sure of this one. In a bigger scheme of things, it's on a lower high, lower low. Except the fact that it's done some nifty like behavior, a gap up and then movement upwards in last 5 days of cool off. So I am being desperate and drawing a level at 1355. PIR Industries. Okay. On a proper one-way fall, broke some important lows in the war period. That's a red flag. I would not want you all to enter this one because it's a lower high, lower low, and did not successfully break the previous swing high. Had it done at least a this and a turnaround and a this behavior, I would be interested. And it will be all the more a red flag the moment it cracks through these levels. So the only commentary I can give, because plotting levels are important, is this. The day it falls below that, it will give you a lower high, lower low pattern, which is the typical toxic kachra behavior. So maybe 2896. So 2986, yes. Avoid solar industries. On a proper breakout, doing a higher low, I don't see levels. So I'm going to get desperate and draw that as a level because that's the recent swing low. If it comes anywhere close, that's your level 14800. And ORB because it's a strong momentum. SRF, skip it. Sumichem. Not really. Again, should do a PII type behavior and avoid behavior lower high, lower low. Might break down. So preferably avoid. But if I have to draw levels, A plus B, that's my area. I'm looking at 400 or 405 or 398. So I'm looking, writing 400 as a level. Slash avoid. Tata Chem is done. Breakout. I think we have Tata Chem here. Yes. Tata Chem is right there. UPL. Just getting to the last one. That's a good one. Should do fine. If it behaves, you have that level, which is current recent today's low, which is 630. 630. For all people asking, will I share the sheet? Of course I will. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 copied. And a new tab in the relative strength sheet. May delete some of them eventually, or let's write it here. This is the historical, no need of this anymore. So deleting that and updating the new ones. Okay, that's your commentary on the recent stocks of two sectors done together, saved on the thing called as New Age EV plus Chem, done on 30 April. ठीक है? APR. ठीक है. That's that. That's all. General question wise, when Nifty 50 fell today, there were few stocks in Nifty 50 rising up like Bajaj Auto, Bajaj Fin. These stocks can be outperforming stock as they beat Nifty in their behavior, and these type of stock can be held for swing only or intraday. Intraday positive. They're not swing only. I'll tell you. That's a good observation. I like what you've done there. You've observed some stocks like Bajaj, which Auto, which did an outstanding behavior today. Please understand, never single out a stock. So see, when I look at relative strength, I look at one Nifty versus some baby sectors like maybe auto or energy or chemicals or capital or IT. That's me looking at Nifty versus a bunch of stocks. That is a bunch analysis. When you single out a stock, that may have a positive outcome because of a positive stock news. At such times, calling it an outperformance is only news based. It might be an auto based Nifty, Bajaj auto based earnings, which might have gotten Bajaj auto to break out. So that is not something that is, I mean, it's a one way, one off stock. If the whole auto sector is outstanding, then commenting that, an auto is doing an outperforming behavior versus Nifty is something that we can process. but not on a specific stock on a specific intraday behavior. Okay? That's all, guys. We have done the part we're supposed to do today. With that, today is a wrap up. We are headed for an extended weekend. So have fun. Tomorrow markets are not on. Most likely we'll not meet tomorrow. And with that, you have 3 days. For all people who are actively looking at stocks, highly recommended that over the weekend, whenever you get times, pick out 1 or 2 hours and journal things. Journal your own things. Otherwise, if you're also exploring FNO, just look at the FNO option charts. Or to kuch nahi, everything else looks fine. Markets are doing okay. We are waiting for long term to not mess up over the weekend. That's the only thing. When you wake up, preferably breathe, meditate if you can, sit back, and that's it. Have fun. See you on Monday. Bye. Good night. Bye, Hemant.